Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back for episode 38 of the
Whoa.
Brunch and Judge.
Hey, that's how old I am.
What? We have reached the birthday years.
We have. Oh, jeez.
But we are your hosts. I am April,
And I'm Claire.
and we're glad that you're joining us on our adventures into true crime, paranormal, and other weird shit.
Always the other weird shit,
And
it seems
say,
like.
and this episode falls firmly into the other
Other.
weird shit.
It does, indeed.
So
Definitely.
definitely enjoy this one. But first, Claire, what
Yes.
are you judging?
I don't know that it's so much as a judge, but an
Eh,
update.
we love a good
Because,
update here.
yeah. Well, because a couple episodes ago, we were talking about true crime and I talked about Crystal Rogers, but this
Yes.
past week, the FBI was back in Bardstown at the farm where she was last seen. And they've been
Dun-dun-dun.
there like all week long. And I think they finally wrapped it up.
I
But
was gonna
still,
say,
it's, yeah,
I saw the news story and was like, oh shit, they're
right.
gonna find her. Surely they're gonna find her, but we've not heard anything. But the
Yeah. And
FBI
I
never
think,
tells us anything. So
no, I think they put something out that said that they had collected evidence. They did find stuff, taking it back for testing.
I feel like
It'll
that's just
probably be
their
months.
generic response to
Right.
things. Is like we
Right.
collected some things because like even if there's nothing there and they collected no evidence, the fact that they're just, stampeding into the lives of these people
Right.
that look really fucking guilty. Okay. Like
I
we
mean,
can't
100%.
know that they did it, and we're not here to like say they did it because we don't know anything. But also we're over
Right.
here going, I'm sorry, but all the things that they did just look really fucking weird.
Right.
It just
Right.
feels really bad.
Yes, 100%. But yeah,
So,
they've been there all week long and it's been like, oh my gosh, they're back.
do you
Because
think
they
that
were here last year and
I was
they
gonna
were
say,
there last year and it's like, woo.
do you think that perhaps from the weird, taking up of the driveway and sections of that subdivision, do you think maybe they found something that helped them maybe get another warrant for the farm? I
Possibly.
mean,
Possibly.
just I don't know anyone in the FBI. If anyone in the FBI is listening, please feel free to send us an email to brunchandjudge@gmail.com. Promises I won't say anything, but like just I just want to know like how things work. Not specifics,
Yeah, just like generic.
just like
What
generic.
is
This
your
is our
process?
yeah, what is the process? It's like generic, this is how it goes, this is how we do things. It usually takes this amount of time, and these are all the hands in the pot, not specific names, but like roles.
Yes.
That's all I want. Just that's all. It's
We
not
want like a generic, like, this is how things go down the line. This is the chain of events that usually happens in something like this.
right, because this is one
Because
of
we want a
those.
timeline. We want to know how long this is going to take because this is
Right.
taking forever.
Well, and like for these, and I don't want to call them cold cases because that's not really the right term in this situation, I don't think. But like the ones that are elongated, like there's not enough
Right.
preponderance of evidence to go to like court or trial or to arrest someone or whatever. But like, what is the process in these weird cases? Like how they go about doing
Yeah.
it, and just
Because we all know that what we see on
fascinated.
TV is not accurate. you
Right?
know, like,
Maybe
oh,
it
we
takes
got
this
this run to the
wrong.
lab and we got it back in 5 minutes. No, we know that that's not true. But yeah, I'd be interested to know too. Like, what's the chain of events? Who does what? Like I said, don't need specifics.
Or even just kind of like in a generic, someone has gone missing and you have a
Right.
potential place that could be the crime scene or could be the scene of like the burial or whatever. What kinds of things are you looking for? I mean, obviously this is going to help me plan my perfect murder for one day, but like other than
Or
that,
write a
what
really kick ass book.
working on it. um I want to write a really kick-ass book. Life goals. But anyway. All that to say, that's very exciting. Like I want to know. Patience is not one of my strengths.
No,
It is not
it's
my
not.
spiritual gift.
No, it's not.
I never once received patience on our spiritual gifts inventories that we did at least 5 times. Um,
I
growing up.
remember those.
I mean,
I
come
remember
on.
those.
Like almost every single like retreat was like, oh, we're gonna do a spiritual gifts
Oh
inventory. And I'm telling
gosh.
you, never once, not ever in my whole entire life has patience been one of them. So not a spiritual gift.
Right.
Like, just tell me things.
But yeah, that was just like an update. Not really a judge so much. But yeah, I am judging the FBI because they're taking their sweet ass time and everybody just we want some answers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know there's a process. I know. But still, it's just like you said, it's like, come on, give us something. You're just
Yeah.
like, we found evidence, we found something, we're taking it back. And that's it. That's like all we ever get. And then they just
Yeah.
show up again a year later. Okay, we got some more evidence.
And we're like, cool.
And then it's like, okay.
Like again, cool. You don't have to give us specifics. Like I get it. You're building a case and you're trying to like keep it to yourself. Don't give them too much time to plan their responses. I'm totally here for all that. But like information on the process would be cool. Like, you know, when we find this kind of evidence, it tends to take this long. And when we find these kinds of evidence, like you don't have to tell me what you found, but you could be like, if it's
Right.
this, then this is what happens next. If it's this is what happens next. And
Right.
well, curious minds over here, curious minds.
That's right.
Well, that's
So, yeah.
exciting. Thank you for the update, Claire.
You're welcome.
I love it. I
Like I said,
love,
not really a judge, but more like, oh,
well,
hey, I talked about this and then this happened.
it's kind of a judge on, hey, FBI, I know you're super secretive, but like
Right.
just some more information on your process would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are you judging this week?
Well, I brought to you 3 separate judges. They're all small.
Oh,
They're all small. It's
okay.
fine. They're all very small. One happened about an hour before we recorded. I went to take a shower
Okay.
because super stuffy and
Mm-hmm.
thought I should wash my hair. It's been much longer than I care to admit. And I had just bought new shampoo and conditioner from like just the grocery store or whatever last week and had used it once and noticed throughout the week my hair felt really dry. It felt drier than usual. And I was like, that's
Mm-hmm.
weird. You know, maybe I'll do like an extra long conditioner soak or something before I wash it out.
Right.
And so like I'm washing my hair and I lather it up and I put down the bottle and I rinse it out and I grab the other bottle and it says shampoo and I'm like, oh hell, did I flip them? And I went back to the first bottle and it also says shampoo and I'm like, I bought 2 bottles of shampoo, damn it. I did not buy conditioner.
You were probably like, wait, what?
Luckily Spencer had conditioner in the shower, so I used it. But I was like, well, no
Come
wonder my
on.
hair felt like shit all week. I
Right?
washed it like 5
God,
times.
I can't imagine. Oh my gosh. Because I know, like, if I don't use conditioner, my hair gets so tangly. Like, it's just like, trying to brush it out. And the flyaways are like all over the place.
But I was
God,
just like, well, hell's bells. So
right.
I now have 2 bottles of shampoo. That's not my favorite. It was just like a stopgap. I needed some shampoo and conditioner. And now I have 2 bottles of it and I hate my life. So there's that.
Maybe Spencer can use it.
I doubt he wants my volumizing collagen based shampoo. It's fine. It's fine. Apparently I can't read words, so
Or
judging myself.
somebody stuck the shampoo in with the conditioner and you
Well,
were just unfortunate enough to grab it.
and like if you knew how long I poured over the various shampoos and conditioners before I just finally just grabbed them, it's just Lord. It's fine.
I'm
It's
sorry.
fine. So I'm judging myself and that I didn't read
Pay
them
attention.
before I put them in my cart. So here we are. Whatever. So
Okay, so that's one.
that's
What's
one
number
judge.
2?
The next judge is this magical thing that popped up. You guys all have Google. Everybody has Google. And when you go into your Google, it gives you weird little news stories that it thinks you'll
Yes.
like. For some reason, mine has been on a weird like Royals kick lately. I don't know why, because I don't like
Right.
hardcore care. But so like I'm scrolling through all is like, yeah, Prince Charles, blah blah blah, is now King Charles, yeah, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, waiting to with bated breath to see if Harry gets disowned for his book, blah blah blah. Skipping through, and then I get this magical. Where to go? Sorry, I lost my phone for a second. Then I get this super magical. Does your birth month bird match your personality? Claire,
What?
did you know that your birth month has not only a stone and not only a flower, but also a bird?
I, I knew the stone and I knew the flower, and I not think it also has a tree,
I'm sure
but
it
I did
does.
not know there was a bird.
There is also a bird. So, guys, this is from birdsandblooms.com. And I want, because, I'm not going to read them all because that's not who I am. That's a lot. But
It is a
so, if
lot.
you want to know yours and it's not one of ours, birdsandblooms.com has got your does your birth month bird match your personality?
Nice.
Now, I was quite pleased with yours, Claire.
Oh, were
Can you
you?
guess what bird the month of February is?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have no idea.
What I love about this is that, there are many people in my life who are born in February.
I sort of say you've got a lot.
Because, Claire is February, obviously. Also my dad and my brother and one of my nephews. It's
Yes.
a busy, busy, busy month. And I don't know that I would agree with this for them, but this does feel very Claire. Claire,
Okay.
your birth month bird is, you ready?
Yeah, hit me.
The parrot.
Shut up. I never would have guessed that. I never thought of it something weird, like really weird.
It's like spooky,
Oh shit.
colorful, and filled to the brim with personality. Parrots always inspire smiles. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, Claire's all of those things, but like, I don't know if I would consider my dad colorful. I mean, he likes colors,
I
but
feel like your dad's personality is colorful.
that's fair. That is fair.
Cause
Mm.
her dad sends me birthday cards
I know. I
every
feel like
year,
I
and
need to
it's always
start
got
like
some little
hitting up
quirky,
Joe and be like, "Hey, Joe, where's my birthday card?"
right. But her dad sends me birthday cards, and he always got some little quirky. Like one year, he wrote me like a limerick.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
that
love
kind of
my
stuff.
dad.
And every time he sees me, he's like, "How's my favorite artiste doing?" And apparently, he talks to my parents about me all the time.
Oh
So,
yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I feel like your dad's personality is colorful.
He's spunky. He's a spunky
He
guy.
is. He is.
And I would even argue that Jason fits most of those, slightly in different ways, but
Right.
definitely spunky. Lord help us. I don't know that Matthew though really would I fall into, but I don't. I mean, he's a teenager that I
He's a
never speak to, so
teenager.
what do I know?
He's a teenager.
He's like, I don't
Teenage
see.
boy brain. It's like it is what it is. That's hilarious. A
But so
parrot.
you're a parrot. Congratulations.
Yes. So
I
what's yours?
Guys, I'm sure you're all shocked to know that my name is April and I was born in the month of April. Lol.
So original.
It is so original. Love it. Love it. Um, for the month of April, it is the canary. I
What?
know, right? I'm like, wait. So like I just go into mines and die first. Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's funny.
This one is not quite as like yours has like definite words that are like personality words, but this one does not really have that. It's like perhaps it's fitting that the bird for the month of Peeps Candy, which what the fuck is that about, is the
I know you.
canary.
I know how much you love Peeps.
Fucking hate Peeps,
I
bam.
know you do. She's like,
Gross,
Peeps are
gross.
the worst.
Let's take sugar and then roll it in sugar and make it gritty. Yeah, great. So you bite into it and you're like gritty, gritty, and then it's like chewy. It's a gritty chew. Wrong, wrong. Some canaries live in the wild, but others,
No,
such as the domestic canary, are kept as pets.
you're a domesticated canary.
They're not all yellow either, which is good because I hate yellow. Some are
Same.
red, while others are yellow and black. They are part of the finch family and are cheerful birds with a delightful song. So I guess I'm cheerful and delightful, which I don't know if that's words
You.
most
No.
people would use for me. I'm pretty
Right.
I'm a delight, but maybe not delightful.
Oh, goodness.
But
That's
yes,
awesome.
so definitely check that out. There's all sorts of one-hit wonders in there that you're just like, Kingfisher? Why is this an option? But okay.
Right.
But, it is the month of October, so I will let you know. It's currently the month of October. You won't hear this in October, but whatever. But if you are an October baby, your bird is the swan.
That's my mom.
Your mom's a swan.
She is.
Is she a symbol of romance and grace?
Oh, I don't know that I'd say that.
All I can think about is how dickish swans are, and that's just not quite how I see your mom.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Y'all, if you've never come in contact with a swan, they are
They
assholes.
are assholes.
I was attacked by a swan, or sort of chased. That's more, I guess it's a better term. Chased by a swan that wanted to attack me in England. It was terrifying.
It wanted to
And I
eat
did
you.
nothing to provoke it. I was just walking.
But so that was my second judge because I was like, oh God, how could we have lived 40 years without knowing our birth month bird?
Birds. I know this.
So there you
Did
go.
not know that was a thing. No.
All right. So my third and final and actual real judge, because both of
Okay.
those things happened today.
Gotcha.
The shampoo happened today and the bird thing happened this morning. And I'm like, I have to share this. Like, I
Right.
can't keep this to myself.
Right.
So my real judge is, you may know that the Great British Bake Off is an excellent TV show that is on Netflix. It's currently releasing one episode a week right now. At the time that we're recording this, they just did the Halloween themed episode.
Okay.
And I have feelings, and I have a lot of
Okay.
feelings. So they've been in some hot water over their Mexican week. It was not well thought out. We'll go with that. And just move beyond that, not getting into that. Just, sometimes you watch
That's a
things
whole
and,
other bag.
well, sometimes you watch a show and you're like, did anybody stop and go, is this okay? Are we allowed to do this?
Gotcha.
Maybe we shouldn't do this. And no one did. So you're like, okay. But I digress. Halloween. So, I mean, odd theme, whatever. Considering that, so they do. Have you ever watched it, Claire? Have you ever watched it?
Yeah, I've watched it a little bit with mom.
Okay.
I've watched a little bit with
So you know
you.
the how it goes. So like they do their first bake, it's the signature bake, and for the Halloween episode, it was an apple cake, which I was like, I mean, all right, fine. I guess it's sort of Halloweeny, but
I mean,
not
that seems weird
specifically,
for
but whatever.
Halloween, but like more fall, I guess.
mean, they were going with like the nostalgia bobbing for apples and
Oh, okay,
that
gotcha.
kind of thing, caramel apples and blah blah blah.
Gotcha.
Which fine, sort of Halloweeny. And the final bake, their showstopper, was this weird bananas thing where they had to make essentially a hanging lantern out of whatever they wanted. So like some people did like a candy, some people did like a chocolate thing, that when you take a baton and you hit it, stuff would fall out like a piñata, basically.
What?
And it was like, I was telling Spencer, this is not my judge, but this is my issue with the Great British Bake Off as we go forward. It used to be these home bakers who were, just making really good things, and then it's become this like next level competition that I feel like it's missing what it used to be. I'm like, I appreciate that they make some elaborate things, but now it feels like you have to make elaborate things or you're not good enough. I'm like,
Gotcha.
No. I mean, just I want them to make like a nice cake and put fake tombstones on it. Why can't we just have that?
Right.
Like we've gone too far. But again,
Or make like a haunted gingerbread house.
right? Yeah, I'm here for that.
Something. I don't know. Yeah.
But like it just felt a little bit whatever.
Too
But again,
much.
not my judge. My judge is so in each episode there is a technical bake where
Yes.
I don't know what it is that they have to make. Everybody has to make the same thing. They're given most of a recipe and the ingredients, and it's all like judge blind. They have no idea who made what. And so for the Halloween episode, they made s'mores.
Okay. But you don't bake though.
Well, I mean, they had to make digestive cookies, and they had to make the marshmallow, and they had to make a chocolate ganache. And
Okay, so
so
they had to make all the
they had to
pieces.
make all the pieces.
Okay. Gotcha. Still, that's like
But I had multiple issues. One being, I don't think s'mores have anything to do with Halloween or even fall. S'mores are more like a summer cookout thing.
I feel like I think of s'mores, I think of camping.
Yeah, it's
you
like
know.
this is a weird thing. And so like I'm watching it and I'm like, this is weird. And then I'm like, no one on the show really knew s'mores. Apparently s'mores have not
Really?
like and this is kind of my judge. So like we constantly send stuff back and forth between us and Britain, and we have, back and forth, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Trends follow back and forth. Like no one thought about s'mores in England. They don't do s'mores. I don't understand. Like, and then not only do they not do s'mores, but like Claire, a s'more is made out of marshmallow, chocolate, and what?
Graham crackers.
Right, not a digestive. A graham cracker. Like, what are you doing? It's not all neat and prim and proper. It's a messy
right. Like you eat it, and
it
is like you eat it, you take that bite, and it all comes out the sides and the back, and you're like got sticky stuff all over your fingers. Like there's nothing graceful about eating
and so
a s'more.
One of the people got knocked down a little bit because their chocolate was dripping down the marshmallow. Like that's what's supposed to happen. You missed. This is what a s'more is. Have none of you had a s'more?
Obviously not.
And it made me kind of lose my mind because I was like, it's not Halloweeny. It's not even fall specific. Like apple cake is fall specific because apples are only around in the fall. But I'm like, s'mores? I don't think I eat a s'more other than during the summer.
Right.
Like the stupid summer thing that you do. Let's make s'mores because, we're roasting our hot dogs or whatever.
I guess maybe because like they think s'mores and bonfire and more bonfires happen in the fall. I don't know. I have no idea.
But it irked me. It irked me a lot. I was like,
but yeah, I don't feel like s'mores are specific to fall or Halloween.
And it's like, why would you? No. I don't know. I was dissatisfied with the if it was like a fall themed episode, I'd have been like, fine, whatever. Sure.
Right.
But they claimed Halloween and then they put things in that weren't Halloween. I mean, apple cake's not really a Halloween thing. S'mores are not Halloween. Pinatas are not part of Halloween. I don't know what that was about. It's like,
yeah, that's weird.
We don't.
That's bizarre.
Do that. We don't hit a pinata to get our candy for Halloween. We just ring the doorbell.
Right. We do pinatas at birthday parties.
Right? But so those are my judges. It's just random things that irked me in the last
that were just like, wait a
couple
minute.
of days. And I was like, So. Anywho. If you're still here with us. We're now going to transition to the real part of our show, in which today we're talking about That's Not How I Remember It, which was a suggestion for the wheel from Spencer. And I forget what it was we had talked about that made him think of that. But here we are.
Yes.
So,
Your
I was
first,
like, I
right?
think it's my turn to go first. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I decided to do things that we collectively have misremembered, even though we lived through them.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Gotcha.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, some of it is we us, but I think I have like one or
Yeah.
two that's not we us, or just like I didn't know that.
Right, right, right.
Okay. So I got my information from always Wikipedia. I need to give them some money because, like, even if
Right.
I don't directly take from the Wikipedia article, I sometimes use the sources that are listed in it and find good
Right.
stuff there. So, also from distractify.com, which is where I kind of found a list of random things to look into,
Okay.
and the Washington Post. Thank you. That's all.
Nice.
All right. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about that's not how I remember it, Claire, this one should hit home for you.
Mm-hmm.
Y2K. Do you remember Y2K?
I do.
Claire, tell me
I
what you
do.
remember. I mean, I remember the party we were at, but otherwise, um, do you remember anything about it, like that time and everybody talking about it?
Just that there was something with the computers and the dates and the times on the computer, and it was going to go back instead of like reverting to the year 2000, it was going to revert back to 1900. That the 00 was going to take us back to 1900, and then all the computers, all the technology was going to like glitch, and we were all going to like go back to caveman time.
Mm-hmm.
So like no technology was going to work. That's kind of, and it became this thing about once midnight hits, we're all screwed. That's kind of what I remember from that.
All right, Claire, and then what actually happened?
Nothing. Not that I recall, nothing
Well,
that
and so yeah,
affected my life
right.
like that. So,
And
I mean, like you said, we were at
so
a party. I
yeah,
remember we made it to midnight and it was like
the
the
lights are
lights were
still on.
still on, TV still worked,
You're like, oh, okay.
nothing was insane. So we're like, okay, cool, just another New Year's.
Well,
That's about all. Yeah.
and so since then, like there's been a lot of jokes about Y2K. It's like, oh no,
Right.
it's like nothing happened. What
Kids
crazy.
today will not know.
I mean I feel like it ended up being kind of like a pandemic. People were like, it's all fake. It was not a big deal. They're just trying to get people upset over nothing, blah blah blah.
Like I remember though, there were some people who were super panicked about it.
Yes, they were hardcore preppers.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
I mean, like end of the world type people who were, because I remember there being, news stories on it. These people, they were going to be ready. They had their bunkers with their
With their rations, that's
food and
right.
their water and all their stuff. And it was like, I'm going to be prepared.
And yet our parents let us go to some other person's house and go to the New Year's
Right.
party. So it obviously wasn't too big of a deal. So it's fine. It's fine.
Right. Right.
Well, you're right. So the Y2K was an issue, was a concern over the formatting issue. So apparently there were several computer systems that only use the last two digits of a year
Okay.
because it's all they needed.
hmm Yeah.
And so there was the concern that when we hit 00 for 2000, the computer couldn't tell a difference between 2000 and 1900, which maybe doesn't sound like a big deal, but it becomes an issue of when
hmm
thinks things where it thinks things belong, like in a sequence or whatever. And there's a lot of concern that it would really fuck with some important infrastructure, like
Right.
air travel and
Right.
banks and all sorts of things, just because of how things are organized. So again, today it gets kind of made fun of because, like Claire said, like nothing really happened. I don't remember anything at all, honestly, not a
No.
thing. Um, but the reality is that the reason that nothing really happened is because they had already spent millions and probably billions of dollars over several years trying to fix it. So
Okay.
So that's why nothing bad really happened. It had been a really long known problem. Like, I feel like I didn't hear about it until 98, 99. I don't feel like anyone ever
Right.
talked about it until then.
Right.
But apparently, Bob Burner noticed it in 1958, which I was like, can we had computers right at then?
What?
What? And
58?
yes.
Oh,
And
wow.
he spent the next 20 years of his life trying to get people and businesses to acknowledge that it was a problem in order to deal with
Wow.
it. So, like, without him, who the fuck knows what would have happened? Because,
Right. Right.
you know, um, but and people started working on it basically our whole lifetime. Back in 1987, the New York Stock Exchange had already spent over $20 million and had a team of 100 programmers fixing it for them for their issues.
Wow. No, I did not know.
So
Yeah.
it's like it actually was a really big fucking deal. It's just that people worked on it and fixed it.
So
Now,
then by the time we heard about it,
it actually, even though everyone was freaking out, most of it had already been fixed and had been dealt with and
that's funny.
addressed. Isn't that weird?
Right. That is very bizarre.
Now, of
Like, oh, hey,
course,
this was a thing, but it's okay now. We
yeah.
fixed it, so you all don't have to worry. Like, why couldn't they have said that?
Well, because there were always going to be systems that did not fix it or things that got
Or yeah.
missed. And so there were a few things that did still happen. So in Australia, bus ticket validation machines quit working. They didn't know how to handle things, which
Okay.
seems minor, obviously, to us, but like
Right. Right.
that's
Right.
an issue. You can't validate your ticket. You can't get on the bus. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Japan had several issues. One in Ishikawa, the radiation monitoring equipment failed at midnight, like as it flipped over,
Oh
and they
wow.
were like, "Uh oh, uh oh." But luckily, there was no
That seems.
radiation happening, so it was
I was
okay.
hard
They
to
were
say.
able to
That
fix it.
seems like that could really be a problem. Like,
Mm-hmm. In Onagawa, Japan, an alarm sounded at a nuclear power plant right after midnight because, again, everything
yeah.
is freaked out. Um, Also in Japan, the telecommunications carrier Osaka Media found errors in their data management, and so like it disrupted a bunch of services.
Okay.
Um, let's see. They're the largest cellular operator in Japan had an issue with phones deleting messages. So like people weren't receiving. Yeah, and maybe that
Gotcha.
doesn't sound like a big deal, but say you're a surgeon and you're getting a message that you need to fucking come in and save someone's life. Like it
right.
matters.
That could be detrimental to somebody's health, literally.
Let's see. In France, the national weather forecasting system uh messed up their weather stuff because it no longer knew what day it was, and it was reading a time that like it freaked out. So like all their weather
Oh,
stuff was
okay.
freaked out for a small amount of time. Um this one is, kind of bad really. In the UK in Sheffield, it caused a miscalculation of a mother's age and sent incorrect risk assessments for Down syndrome to 154 pregnant women. So, like, these are women who are, just
Oh.
getting information. And as a result of that, uh, two women had abortions because they thought their risk was really high.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and four women did not get abortions because they had been placed into the wrong groups due to the miscalculation. And so they had four babies with Down syndrome as a result.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
how you fall on the whole abortion and Down syndrome and all of
Right.
that, but like these people
Right,
made
right.
decisions based on incorrect information as a result of Y2K.
Wow.
Let's see. Here in the United States, the U.S. Naval Observatory, which runs the master clock that keeps the country's official time, messed up. I guess no
You
one
would
fixed
think
that one.
that that would
They
be the
didn't fix that one.
one.
They were like, oops.
That would be the one that they would try to fix.
That they would be like, our
What?
bad, we forgot one. We forgot to make sure the time stays the same.
I know, that's just I feel like of all the things that you all were like, that should have been, like, one of the
Well,
top
and
ones,
what was
just
great
saying.
is that like the date that it claimed it was, because there's a lot of other issues, because for some reason 1900 was programmed to be a leap year or something. Like there's a whole thing about leap years in there. But so
Mhm.
the clock in at the Naval Observatory said that it was January 1st, and the year was 19,100. So it's cool.
What?
It just leaped way forward
Wow.
into time. It was like, that can't be
Wow.
1900, so it's 19,100, I guess. And
Right,
you're
like,
like,
what?
I whatever. It doesn't understand how dates work, so that's comforting, right?
Right. It's like, great.
Let's see. Also, here in the US, a ground control station ceased processing information to a number of spy satellites.
Oh, wow.
And it took them like 3 hours to fix it. So,
Wow.
and then this only matters if you're in Delaware, but apparently in Delaware, 150 lotto machine like slot machines stopped working because they couldn't handle the date change. So like these were mostly very minor
Wasn't
inconveniences,
anything that was
but
super detrimental, but some
they're
of them
letting
had
you know
pretty
that things that you wouldn't expect to
right.
be related at all were impacted, and like on the small scale they were all able to be fixed, but like on a large scale that would have been disastrous. So
Right.
so thank you, Bob Burner, for yelling at people for 20 years to make them start paying attention to fix it.
Right.
So I was like, well, that's fun.
Wow.
Okay, so my next one is a downer. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you
Okay.
guys it's a super downer, but it's completely applicable to our lives, Claire, because we lived through this one as well. Columbine.
Yes.
So,
Oh, boy.
um, you might I did not, and I had this thought earlier. So I have been listening to a podcast. It's called the Nighttime Podcast, I think is what it's called. The guy is in Nova Scotia. I love his Canadian accent. It's perfection. Because it's just like a slight bit on certain words, and you're like, there it is. But he recently did like a 6 or 7 part series on the avoided mass shooting that was going to happen in Nova Scotia. Um, and I, at that point, was acquainted with the concept of Columbiners, which I did not know about until this.
Mhm.
And so, they talked a little bit about Columbine, and I was shocked because, Claire, do you know how many people died in Columbine, in the Columbine shooting? Was the plural? What is
Mm.
your memory?
Something like 10, 15, maybe ish.
Right. So my memory was actually like 25, 30. Like I
Okay.
just remember it was like a lot. And then like it ended up, you're right, it was 10 to 15ish. It was 12 students and one teacher. But
Okay,
like I
gotcha,
had this
gotcha.
memory of it being much more, and that's because for the longest time that's what they were saying, like in the beginning. They were saying as many as 25 people, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's a lot."
So
And it
this
just
is
stuck
kinda
with me.
like, also it reminds me of, what was that? Sandy Hook.
Right.
Like, because I remember when they first were, like, reporting as stuff was coming in, it was not accurate,
Right. But
to
like
say the
it
least.
really stuck around.
Right, right.
So the other thing that I super recall from, I mean, we were in high school when this happened. So
Right,
the
right,
other thing that
yeah.
I super recall was that Harris and Klebold were members of the Trench Coat Mafia.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. Like, cause that was when they showed pictures of them.
Mm-hmm.
I do recall that, yes, whatever that is.
So they weren't.
Okay, well, I feel like somebody reported that they were, like, I don't
Right. So like there was a lot
and
of
this
that.
is back before I feel like this is back before Google was really a thing.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You know what I'm
It was
saying? Like, so
before
we were
Google. We
hearing,
were still in
I
the
feel like,
Ask Jeeves world in Yahoo, so
well, not even that. I feel like we were still in the world of,
we were
we're getting
watching
bits and
news,
pieces.
yeah.
Yeah, we're getting bits and pieces of what they're saying on the evening news. It was
Mm-hmm.
not like that kind of, how things spread like wildfire
Yes.
now when something gets on the internet, there's that, that kind of thing. But I feel like this was before that became, but I do
Right.
remember hearing that trench coat mafia thing.
So there were a group of people who regularly wore trench coats and called
Uh-huh.
themselves the Trench Coat Mafia. They were actually
Mm-hmm.
um, seniors from the year before, so like they didn't go to school there anymore; they'd graduated. And though Harris and Klebold
Oh,
were friendly with some of them, they weren't part of that group because they were a year younger.
gotcha.
But that was one of the things that got reported, and that Harris and Klebold were super into like gothic stuff and interested in
Mm-hmm.
the occult and Marilyn Manson
Satanic.
and into Hitler. And you remember all that, right? All the Hitler stuff,
Yes.
all of that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, that they were, loners and outcasts and
Mm-hmm.
isolated, and that they had been bullied, and that this was all like
Yep.
retaliation. And none of that is
Yep.
true.
What?
So
Okay.
Klebold and Harris
So,
had lots of friends. They were both super active in school activities. They had part time jobs. They hung out with friends and worked at a pizza shop. They were in the bowling league at school. One of them was on the soccer team, and Klebold was in a fantasy baseball league and had just gone to prom with a girl, like with a friend or girlfriend or whatever, like a few days
yeah.
before this happened. Like they were completely normal. There's no, they got like, they were not super victims or they weren't really
Wow.
out for revenge for getting bullied. I mean, like, did they get picked on a little bit? Yes. Everyone agrees that like everyone at school had a little bit, but in
Right.
actuality, they were more often the bullies. They bullied people some way more than they were ever bullied.
Wow.
And so of the handful of kids that they knew of that had maybe teased them a little bit, none of them were targeted in this. It had nothing to do with any of the stuff that we were told.
Wow.
They actually just were super into the idea of killing people in general. And like they even recognized that they might kill some of their friends and were kind of like, yeah,
I feel like that's almost worse.
I know. Well, but
That is, to me, that
but
is
it
worse, because not that I'm
well,
condoning
no.
people who get bullied and then going, I'm not condoning that at
But
all.
that became the
No.
message of Columbine. Like we were like it all
Right.
became about don't be bullies and you got to watch out for the kids who are
Right.
getting bullied. And so it became this whole thing that didn't even exist. And
It was like it
I
was
was
like a
outraged.
movement.
Yeah.
It really was. It was like a movement through schools,
Yeah.
and I remember they would get what, like, the people who died, like their parents and, or survivors
Mm-hmm.
would travel around the country and
Talk about God
do,
mostly, by the way. But
yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, but they would,
when this
come to
was
schools.
nothing, well, and like I
Wow.
specifically remember the father of the girl who apparently said she loved Jesus. You remember that one? And that's why she got shot. That's the
Yes, and
one
I
that's still
just,
sticks. And I wonder if any of that is actually true after all this.
well,
Like,
no,
is
here's
any
what
of
I've
this true?
heard. She's not, they misremembered that. She's not the one, the Cassie,
Mm-hmm.
that she's not the one who did that. I saw a TikTok on it. It was a
Uh,
guy who was a survivor of Columbine, and he said that she wasn't the one who said that.
my door just
I heard
slammed.
that. I heard
Ghost,
that. I know.
ghost.
I was like, what was that? But
Especially
I
since
saw
none of our
something where it was
windows
like
are
it was
open.
an it was another girl, I think named Rachel.
Yeah,
Anyway, but it's not the one, like, they came out and they, like, her parents wrote a book about it. I mean, it was a whole thing.
but
And then it's like she's not even the
yeah.
one that did it. It was somebody else.
Well, and it turned it into this whole like religion thing, and it wasn't. It was none of the things that we were told. It was none of those things.
Right.
It
Right, right,
was
right.
awful and horrible and bad, and it's awful and horrible bad, and honestly, one of the more traumatic memories of my youth. Because we were sitting in school watching the news about it,
Right.
and I
Mhm.
can't unforget that. But just like all of this stuff that I grew up believing none of it is what actually happened. So
Right.
it's like,
Well, then
whoa.
remember it
And we
became
just
this
all
whole thing where it was
collectively know it
like,
that way.
yeah, because they did. They turned it into, oh, they wanted to go in and they wanted to kill Christians. And then it turned into this whole thing. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, oh my God, you're sitting in youth group and they're
Oh
like,
God.
talking about this. And they're like, which side are you going to be on if somebody comes in with a
Yes.
gun? And I'm like, this is sick and
And
messed
I'm going here
up.
like, I gotta say whatever the fuck they want me to say. Cause like,
Right.
it's, well,
Are
because it
you gonna are
became
you
like
gonna
a,
lay your life down for God? And it's like,
well,
wait,
and,
what?
and the
I
flip
am
of it,
13 years old. Calm down.
and the flip of it was like, if you don't, it's like the unforgivable sin you've denied Jesus or whatever. And I'm like,
Right. To save your own life. It's just
it's
like,
such a
wait, this is
sick,
messed up.
oh, it's so sick. God, so much trauma. But yeah, so like as I'm reading this, I'm flashing back to all of it. I'm like, ah,
Right. I mean, I
oh,
know that we didn't go through it, but I feel like if you were in high school at that time, you probably have a slight
yeah,
PTSD when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I
You
do.
know,
I have huge
shit that your
PTSD
parents, yeah, shit
over
that your
it.
teacher said to you, shit that your parents said to you, you know, your if you went to church,
Mm-hmm.
that your youth leader and your pastor and that, I mean, yeah, kids who, I mean, I know that I can't even compare to the
Mm-mm.
people who lived through that. I'm not trying to
No,
like
no.
diminish them at all, but I feel like
But
millennials who
it's,
went through, who were in high school when that happened, there is that level of like PTSD when it comes to that kind of stuff because they're throwing it in your face,
well,
oh, well, this was about Christianity and this was about, this, that, and the other. And
mhm.
then it's like, but no,
Well,
it
but even
wasn't.
just like how overnight we suddenly had like lockdown drills and
Right.
everything
Uh-huh.
changed. It wasn't the first school shooting. It wasn't even like we'd even already had one in Kentucky at that point.
Becky,
But
uh-huh.
like it was the one that changed everything in this dramatic way that it was so traumatic because it was just like overnight and it just stays with you.
Right.
So no, we didn't thank God or whoever
Because I think it
that
was
we
one of
didn't
the
have we
first.
haven't had to suffer through that horrificness
Right.
yet because
I think it was because it was one of the first that the news media like
yes, picked up.
covered in real time and had the videos of the kids like trying to get out of the school and walking away with their hands on their head.
Yes,
And I mean,
Lord,
and we're sitting there in our classrooms
just
watching
watching
it.
it.
Like these are kids our age
Yes.
who are exactly like us, just in another state, trying to go through school. And this happened. And I think that, yeah. And it was like overnight, it was lockdown drills and, you know, whatever. Oh, and then because you lock down and then they do locker searches and they bring in the dogs and then they
Oh
come
God,
over
the
and be something
dogs are
bullshit
wicked.
like, oh, it's code red or code blue or whatever it
Well,
was,
and it was, it's
and then
like
you'd sit
covering
in the
the
same
windows and locking the door and
right.
everybody like being really quiet but getting out of view of like the peek through of the door and all that. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Yep.
Nightmares.
Yes.
So yes, that was another one. We've completely misremembered because like all of the stuff got reported, like the initial reports were saying these
Right.
things because but that's all we held on to. We didn't, and like everyone remembers it the way we do.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
Yes.
My next one was about how Al Gore was such a sore loser. He just wouldn't just let it go, right? Like, I mean, just could not
Right.
accept that no one wanted him to be president. That's how I remember it mostly. I mean, granted, we grew up in Republican land, but I
Right.
I only have like vague memories
Well, I
of it
had
just because it
AP,
was.
yeah, I did because I had AP US history
Mhm.
during that election because we actually got to go see George W. Bush be inaugurated.
Mhm.
And yeah, like that's what everybody, you know, because of the whole like hanging Chad thing
Yeah,
and
and
Florida and their
well, I was
ridiculous
gonna
voting
say
system. Like,
the
what
fact
the hell,
that it's
Florida?
like, what the hell's a hanging Chad, and why is Florida so fucking stupid, and what the hell, Florida's full
Right,
of idiots. Which I mean, maybe not true then, but I don't know about now, guys. I'm sorry.
right,
Well, you're getting a little weird down there. Just saying. But like, so here's the thing. When you look back at it, the reality was that it was a really tumultuous time. Like we all kind of flash back to the past election and the January 6th thing that happened and all
Right.
of that. I mean, but they had those same fears then. People were incredibly upset that Bush quite literally stole this election by conveniently Florida having election issues where his brother was governor, and it looks incredibly shady when you look back on it all. You're like,
Right.
I'm not going to say that Jeb Bush committed election fraud because I absolutely don't know a damn thing about it, but like it looks bad.
Right.
It really looks bad. And then the Supreme Court upheld the stuff that kept that pretty much just handed Bush the presidency, and you see where that got us. No offense, W. You weren't that terrible, but like, wow, like it's to me
Right.
that instance set up so much. So you
Right.
know, it's
I feel like it laid the groundwork for like what we're dealing with
mhm.
now,
And
to be
well, and
honest.
so it's like it's not that Al Gore was a sore loser; it's that the system was stacked in a way to like if there was ever a time when an election was stolen, I think it really was W. Like I don't think he himself did
Right.
it, or like I'm not saying that, but like
Right.
the powers that be made that happen, and it's disconcerting to look back on. Okay,
Right. Let me just tell you this little
sure,
aside. I remember back in the day with Snickers commercials, the whole like hungry, eat a Snickers,
right?
blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure it was a Snickers commercial and it was a voting one. And it's this guy is going in the voting booth and this little elephant pops up on one shoulder and a little donkey pops up on the other shoulder. And it's supposed to represent Al Gore and W. Bush.
Oh God.
And they're like doing their little thing trying to get him to vote for him.
Mhm.
And they were saying shit like, he's like, "Well, my daddy was president." It was like, "Well, I invented the internet." And I mean, I
I
remember it being
remember
like hilarious at the time. And he's like, something about I wear my dad's pants or something like that. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But I remember it was a Snickers commercial. I need to see if I can find this because it was like, maybe this is something I just made up in my brain. I know
you
I
never
didn't.
know. You never know. This
I
sounds
know.
real. It sounds really,
But it
really
was the
real.
whole
Mhm.
thing. The whole thing was like, they're sitting there like yakking at him back and forth, you know, about who to vote for, and he's standing there like this, and then it was like, "Gonna be a while, eat a Snickers," and so he just pulls the Snickers out of his pocket while he's like listening to
Listening to
these
their
two
back and forth.
little
Mhm.
cartoon things trying to get him to vote for whoever.
Wow.
I remember they were saying like like funny stuff, The one was like, "Well, I've been to the internet," the whole thing, that whole thing. But yeah, I also think of that whenever I think about that election because I'm like, God, the commercials that came out,
Ugh,
you
right.
know,
Mhm.
like, jeez.
All right. My next one is kind of a combination of the origins of "In God We Trust" and "One Nation Under God." Do you know when we got
Okay.
those?
Probably like the 50s.
That is correct. It is not the founding
Yes.
fathers, which is what everyone's like, the founding fathers, which we all know the founding
No.
fathers would never do that shit because, like,
They were deists.
they were huge on the separation of church and state. They did
Right.
not want any god of any kind mentioned in any of their stuff. Even the Christian one, they didn't want that either. So back off. So it was 100% because of McCarthyism. Ugh.
Okay. Yuck.
And what's really annoying is that in the 50s, the Congress voted to replace the the nation's motto, which was "E pluribus unum," which makes
Mhm.
hells a lot more sense since it's out of
Right.
many one,
Many
because we're
one.
many
Yeah.
states to create one
One
nation. Like, oh my
nation.
god, it's
Yes.
not rocket science. But no, no. Now we have to have "In God We Trust." Oh, um, which
Right.
fun times. So not actually found in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible does it say "In God We Trust." I mean, there's like suggestions of like
Right.
trust in the Lord with all your heart or whatever, and all that. I mean, like it's there, like the concepts are there, but it is actually almost verbatim twice in the Quran. So, which God do we trust? Ooh.
What?
And so they all, so I got added to our currency, blah blah blah. But they also changed the Pledge of Allegiance and added that whole phrase in that wasn't there
One
before
one nation under God.
because they wanted to emphasize the distinctions between the United States and the officially atheistic Soviet Union.
Okay.
Stupid.
Like,
It's just fucking stupid.
yeah,
Not the founding
Cold War and
fathers,
all
though.
that
You've misremembered.
nonsense. Right.
Basically, you're like,
I did know that. I was like, I know this one.
all right, and
I'm not misremembering
yeah,
this one.
no, it's all bullshit. So my last one is just some famous things that we learned, but that didn't actually happen, just for funsies. So these are short. These are
Yay.
short. So one is that rats caused the Black Death, that it was parasites on the rats that transmitted the Black Death, and that's how everybody died,
Yes.
and everybody got sick. Turns out not true. That's a lie.
Ah.
Not rats. Actually, human parasites, such as fleas and lice, is what transmitted the Black Death to everybody, and they all died. So just us. We did it. No rats were involved. People suck.
I love it when teachers lie to us. It's my favorite.
This one is sort of timely. Hey, Claire, what were the names of Christopher Columbus's ships?
I'm going to say them, and then you're going to tell me I'm wrong. Because it's the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
No. I mean,
right?
Yes, but no. So there was one named the Santa Maria. That was real. But the other two were not named Nina and Pinta. That's no one named ships that. Those aren't real ship names because they're all from
Spain.
like, Spain. So they would all have been named Santa something. So there's one ship they have no idea what the fuck it was named. It was Santa something or another, but it was definitely the Santa Maria, and then it was also the other one was the Santa Clara.
What?
Yep.
Like I said, I love it when teachers lie to us.
They lie to us. Okay. This is my personal favorite one because I love religion. I know I give it up and down the road all the time because I think it's mostly a bunch of cultish bullshit that people use to control other people. But I love it. Okay. It's so fascinating. Turns out Martin Luther was not the drama. He was not the drama.
What?
He did not dramatically nail his 95 theses to the door of the church. That is not a thing that happened.
Then why do they keep saying this? Why?
He actually very politely, because he was not like trying to cause a whole Reformation thing. He was just like concerned. And so he very politely wrote a letter to the Archbishop that was mailed. He politely mailed him a letter.
Okay.
That's all.
Well.
But if he had nailed his 95 thesis to the door, that is actually not the thing that we think it is. It's not like he went over burr. Apparently, the front door of the church was basically the town's notice board. So that's right. People nailed everything. Everything was hung up there.
So it was just basically a giant bulletin board.
So, yeah. But so, like, not the drama. Didn't do it. But even if he had, not the drama.
Wow.
No, I was like, oh, man. I love that. He didn't mean to cause Protestantism, but he did.
But he sure did.
Okay. And this is my last one, and this is just for you because it's just for you.
Okay.
Van Gogh or Van Gogh, however you recognize it in your brain, only cut off part of his ear, not all of it. It was not a clean it was just like a little piece. Just like
I did know this.
Well, I knew you probably did. But since at my local bookstore they sell a Van Gogh doll with a detachable ear.
An entire detachable ear.
Most people don't know that. So
right.
You were told wrong. Sorry.
Yes.
But
no. I'm like, I did know that.
So that is that's not.
And I appreciate you educating people on that fact.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh. Some of that hurt my head.
I know
It makes me sad. It makes me sad. Like, well, not really sad,
well,
but
to
just kind of
me,
like,
it's like it's the Columbine thing like fucked me up because I was like, my
right,
whole life I was told this set of facts, and none of those
right.
facts were
I think
accurate
that's the one.
at
Yes,
all,
definitely.
at all. But also, Martin Luther kind of fucked me up a little. It's like, what?
Yeah. Even the Columbus one kind of messes with
Mm,
me because it's like, you sons of bitches.
what? Yeah.
We had to sing songs
The
about this
Nina and
motherfucker.
the Pinta and the Santa Maria. I don't know the
I
other words. I just
know.
know that part.
Right. We had to sing songs about it.
Hmm.
And then you tell us like, oh, he discovered the new world. And you also lied to us about what the fuck he did over here too. So like,
Well, and
don't.
also like he went to like
It's
the
just like,
Caribbean. He didn't discover the New World. He discovered
right.
an island in the Caribbean. Bravo. And he did. People were fucking there. It's not discovered. They knew it was
Right.
there. Moron.
You like, oh, we're gonna have Columbus Day because he's such a great person. No,
No,
no.
no, no,
He's
no.
a horrible he was a horrible
He
human being.
is one of the OG douche canoes.
Yes.
I mean, there were many, but he's
Yes.
definitely in like the top 10. So,
100%.
but there you have it. So,
Well,
I
all of those
am glad that I
were
could
excellent.
destroy all of your childhood memories in one
Right.
fell swoop.
Well, whatever childhood memories of yours that weren't destroyed, I'm probably gonna
Good.
destroy the rest
We're
of
here
them.
to
So
destroy all of your happy fuzzy thoughts and things that you thought were true and great. All right,
all
Claire,
right.
what have you brought us?
I'm gonna be talking about the Mandela
Da
effect.
da 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 da.
And I got my stuff from esquire.com, verywellmind.com, and
Ooh,
goodhousekeeping.com.
good housekeeping. I am pro.
Mm-hmm.
Good. They have some good articles.
They do. They do. Anyway, the Mandela effect. If you have not heard of it, which we've talked about this a little
Yeah,
bit.
we've
I think we
touched on
did
it a
talk about
little.
it on like, yeah, for like one judge or so. It was like a judge or something we did. Anyway, it's a phenomenon that makes us question some of the most mundane memories from our past. And it's been defined as a recent refinement of false memory that typically refers to pop culture or current event references. So basically, you're remembering things that don't match historical records.
Mm-hmm.
Not really based on people telling you wrong, like what
Yeah.
April was saying. You know, just in your brain, you're like, I don't remember that happening. So the term was coined by Fiona Broom, and it was when she created a website to document her observances. And Broom, what started it, she was at a conference talking with others about how she remembered Nelson Mandela's death in a South African prison in the 1980s. And a lot of other people were like, I remember that too. But in reality, Nelson Mandela got out of prison
And became president.
and he, right, became president and didn't die until
I was
2013.
gonna say, I feel like when he became president, I mean, obviously I don't remember anything in the 80s, but like I remember people
Right,
talking about it that I also felt like I knew that he was dead. It felt like he was supposed to have been dead, which I couldn't possibly know that. I would have been like two or something
right.
still.
So anyway, Fiona Broom, she was floored that such a large group of people had the same identical incorrect memory
Mm-hmm.
that she had. So she started a website to discuss what she termed the Mandela effect and similar incidents. So I'm going to hurt your all's childhoods with some of this. So the peanut butter, it's Jif, not Jiffy.
See, that's one that I have come across. I've never known it as Jiffy. I've only ever known it as
I
Jif.
don't remember that, but I have come across people who
Yes, people who are
swear
like, no, it
who
was. And
will
it's like, okay.
no. Yeah, yeah, this is not one that like is I'm not in the alternate
I am,
timeline for this
well,
one.
I am like 99.9% sure that for all of my early childhood, we had store brand peanut butter. So I
Right.
wouldn't have known one way or the other.
Right, right. So yeah, like some people swear there was a Jiffy peanut butter. No such thing has ever existed, but some speculate that they were kind of combining Jif and Skippy.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
Jiffy.
can see that. I can see that.
So that's possibly one, one thing
Mm-hmm.
that explains that, maybe. um, Looney Tunes.
Ah,
The spelling, a lot of people think it's Looney Tunes because they're cartoons. It's
right.
Toons, but it is not. It's tunes, Tunes. So Looney Tunes like songs,
I feel
not
like
like cartoons.
I feel like this is another one where like I've been told it so much now that I've convinced myself that I've always known it was Tunes, but I am
Same.
very certain that as a kid I thought it was
It was Lo-
Toons.
oh, absolutely, because
I
it's a
I'm
cartoon.
sure that I have like retrained myself, but
Right.
that feels like one that I'm 100% committed to. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
So the family of bears.
Okay, this one fucks me up
Same.
because
Same.
like I know the truth, but then I'm also like I'm in a new timeline. So in my
Right.
timeline,
It's the
it really was.
Berenstein.
It was Steen,
Yeah, the
Berenstein. There are
Berenstein
only
Bears.
E's. There are no A's.
Yeah. So April and I wrote the last part of that is Stein, Berenstein Bears.
Hmm.
No. Apparently it's Berenstain. Stain Bears.
Well, and what I love, I came across this, it's probably been maybe a month ago. Like, people are die hard about this one more than any of the others
Right.
because people be like, I know I have an old one and it is spelled with the EI and
Uh-huh.
I'm going to dig it out and like, you do it, bitch, because I'm here for that. But because
Yeah, take a
I'm
picture
also
and
like,
send it my way. Yes.
because I also did the thing once where I went home and like dug through old books, like, God damn it, there are
You're
A's.
right.
Like,
I
I'm in a
know.
different timeline.
I know. I was like, I don't remember this at all. We had the movies. We had like VHS tapes with like
Right?
it was like an Easter special and like other I mean it
Hmm.
was all kinds of stuff. Anyway, yes. Yeah, that one.
That one
So,
fucks me up. I'm here
yeah.
for that. Hmm.
All right, next one. Curious George. Does he have a tail or not a tail?
I don't like monkeys. So here's the thing, guys. Like, I know Curious George, like, I know it got read to me, but like, I authentically have never particularly liked monkeys. I don't know why. Curious George did not do it for me. Um, I don't have a memory one way or the other. So I
So
have no dog in this fight because I was like, I don't like
so
monkeys.
the original, like back in the day, there was no tail.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see anything where he's got a tail and he's hanging from something, that's got to be newer because the original one
No
did
tail.
not did
Mm-hmm.
not have a tail. Yep. So there's also one, the TV show with Carrie Bradshaw and her friends. People think it's Sex in the City, but it's Sex and the City. Like there are people out
Oh.
there who think it's Sex in the City, but
You
it's
know, I think
actually
I thought
Sex
it was
and
in IN. But I mean, I
it's
never watched
and
it really
right.
because it was on like the special pay channel. We couldn't afford
Right, right, right.
that.
Yes, 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 yes.
Ah,
But anyway,
Sex
a lot of these are
and
like
the city.
spellings that are like, wait,
Okay.
what?
Okay.
The next
Okay.
one, Febreze, does not have two E's side by
What?
side. Yes, it is Frebreze. It's not.
Febreze?
It's yeah, but it's not breeze like Breeze.
Well, that's
And I'm like,
stupid.
that hurts my head because
That's
I'm like, I'm
somebody
pretty
who
sure.
failed at marketing. Because, like, guys, why would you spell it Febreze if you
I
wanted people to
know.
say Febreze? Because we're all saying Febreze. So I think I, I'm like
Febreze.
they did it wrong. It is Febreze. Fix it.
Yeah,
Febreze.
right. Um, Oscar Mayer, the way you spell Meyer.
But it's the song. This was
It
one
is
that I never understood what people didn't know. I'm like, but
right.
it's my baloney has a first name. It's O
O
S
S
C
C
A
A
R.
R.
My baloney
Loney
has a
has a
second
second
name.
name.
It's M A Y
A
E
Y E
R.
R. But I think people would say
Oh,
M
I
E
love to
Y
eat it every
every
day. And
day.
if you ask me why, I
What I
say,
say.
because Oscar Mayer has a way with
O L O G
BOLOGNA.
N A.
And
Yep.
it's the only reason I can spell baloney. So
Right.
I'm sorry, people who don't understand that how to spell it, because the song told you. The song told you. It told you.
But anyway, I think people the when you're spelling it. I think there were people out there who like Meyer, and you're just like,
Wrong.
no.
No, you're right. If I were spelling Meyer, I would spell it Meyer, unless I
Right.
was spelling Oscar Meyer.
Right.
So I'm here for that. It's fine. You're not wrong, but you're
Yeah.
wrong.
But you're wrong. All right. The shoe brand Skechers
Okay.
does not have a T in it.
What? It's not.
Nope.
Damn, I even
S
own
K
Skechers. I don't even
E
know that.
Yeah, Skechers.
Oh.
It does not
Huh.
have a T like the word sketch.
I mean, I guess that makes sense since it's not a sketch, but like, I think I always thought it did. Huh.
Right, right. I saw that and I was like, wait, what? I'm just like, but it's wrong. It's spelled wrong.
And it looks wrong.
Right.
It's wrong. Okay, go ahead.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit Loops. How do you spell fruit?
How do I spell fruit?
In Fruit Loops.
Like fruit?
No.
Fruit?
No. It's OO FROOT
Is that because it's is that because
LOOPS.
there's not actually any fruit in Fruit Loops that they spelled it?
Probably. Probably.
Wow. Wow, I just assumed actually. I mean, I was probably 8 the last time I had Fruit Loops, but
Same.
still. Huh,
Right. I don't know that I ever noticed that either. That I'm like,
well, there you
what?
go.
All right. Um, Next one is King Henry VIII's big portrait. That some people remember his portrait of him holding a turkey leg in one hand, but that picture never existed. But now because of
That picture exists. I mean, it may not have been that specific, but like there is some picture that has always been around of him holding a fucking turkey leg
but
because
apparently
I've
because
seen
of
it.
it, like people have gone back and like photoshopped turkey legs and like done, like comedy or
Mm-hmm.
little.
Well, I wonder if like that was always a comedy and it had been like photoshopped in because I feel like
Right.
I saw it as a kid. Like that's how I
Same.
knew he was,
I'm like,
quote
wait,
unquote
what?
fat and lazy or
Fat.
whatever they wanted to get
Right.
across with it.
Right.
Because I also thought that's why we had turkey legs was only because of him.
Right. I'm like, wait, you're telling me that picture? What?
I
You
mean,
know?
I have not been to a lot of Ren fairs because I don't just haven't. I think they're fun, but
Right.
like they always have turkey legs because of him.
And they're delicious.
So like it had to exist. It had to exist.
Right.
It was stolen. It was stolen, Claire, and they're trying to
By
like
Carmen Sandiego. She stole
she
it.
stole it's stolen and they're trying to convince us it never existed so they can keep it.
That's right. All right.
Conspiracies.
So the next one, the Monopoly Man. Does he have a monocle or no?
Hate that game. Hate that game so much.
Yeah, it's not my fave.
I want to say he does, but I think I'm thinking of the peanut guy. I think peanut guy
And
has a
that is
monocle
exactly, he does not. Uh, yeah, does not exist. Some people swear
because the top
that,
hat. It's the top hat
uh huh,
thing. It's the magic of a top. You're supposed to have a monocle if you have a top hat. It's the
right.
rules.
Some people swear that Uncle Pennybags, which is his name,
Oh my god, he has a name.
yeah, rich Uncle Pennybags.
Rich Uncle Pennybags. All right,
Yeah,
fine.
they swear that he had a monocle, but he never did. And so other people suggest that they are getting him confused with the Planters mascot, Mr. Peanut.
Oh right. Oh, the plant. Okay, there's like
Yeah,
I was like envisioning him like I see a
because
top
he
hat.
also has a top hat.
I know that
Yep.
he has a top hat, and I'm like, does he have a monocle? I know Peanut Guy has a monocle.
Right, 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 right.
I don't know. I don't know. But here's the thing: he should have a monocle. Like he just should have one.
Right.
So why don't we just rectify our mistakes here and just give him a
Just add
monocle?
one.
Like just
It's
add one,
fine.
guys. Just
Right.
fix it.
It's fine. Um, Pikachu's tail. And this is one that I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I would have sworn up and down that there is no black detailing on the end of his tail, that his tail is just solid yellow.
I was gonna say, is Pikachu the yellow one?
Yes, he's
Okay.
the most famous. He's the most famous one that everybody knows. But I would have sworn
I
like the tip of his tail has like this little like jagged looking thing with black, and that's what I would have sworn.
huh.
But apparently not. Apparently it's just solid yellow. and that like hurts my heart because
I
I'm like,
don't know.
wait, what? I'm not even that big into Pokemon,
I
but I would have
completely
like
like
sworn up and down.
I pieced out on the Pokemon thing. I was like, nah, I can't. So
Right, right,
I don't know. But I
uh,
mean, sure, sure. I
right,
feel like I would have guessed it wasn't solid.
right. I would have felt like because he's got black on him elsewhere anyway.
Okay.
Um, there is no hyphen in Kit Kat, and I'm like, wait, what? Because I'm pretty sure when I write it out, if I've ever written it out, I've put a hyphen Kit Kat.
Are they trying to claim that it's one word or two separate words?
Two separate words.
But they're all smushed together. Like if you don't have the hyphen, then it just looks stupid.
Yeah, but
Okay,
apparently
so
there is
I have
no
a
hyphen
theory.
in
I have a
Kit
theory
Kat.
for all this when we're done. You'll love it. I heard about it the other day and it's fucked up my life. So I'm gonna fuck up yours. But when you're done.
Okay.
Mhm.
The Fruit of the Loom logo, and this one messes with me too. There is no cornucopia, it's just fruit. And I would have
Hmm.
sworn up and down, at least back in like the 90s, there was like some kind of like cornucopia behind the fruit. I would have sworn it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I probably would have too.
Yeah, there's no,
I feel like fruit has to have a cornucopia, otherwise it makes no
no,
sense.
apparently it's just apples and grapes in the logo,
Hmm.
which is weird to me. Now, this one I did know, and I don't know why people think this, but whatever. Cinderella's castle only exists in Walt Disney World. If you think it exists in Disneyland, you are incorrect because that is Sleeping Beauty's castle.
I don't have the vaguest idea.
It's like
I
pink.
couldn't have
It's
told
kind
you
of
that
pink.
there was a
Yeah.
castle at Disneyland, so
No, because I think in all the ones they built like a different kind, like a different somebody's castle, but they're not all Cinderella's castle.
fancy.
So Disneyland, who was built first, got Sleeping Beauty's castle.
Well, I'm over here going like, fuck castles. I want Hogwarts.
Right, right, right.
Much
All right.
cooler.
This one goes out to our friend Christy Joe because she was obsessed with Casablanca back in the day.
Ah.
Um, Ingrid Bergman's character doesn't say "play it again, Sam."
Oh.
She says "play it once, Sam," for old time's sake.
Huh. I also okay, I literally have only seen that movie once. Sorry, Christy Joe. And it was at least 15, 25 years ago. God.
I started to say I think the one time I did see it was with
Was
her.
with Christy Joe. I'm pretty sure that's
Right,
right.
right, right.
I thought it was the guy that said to play it again. So I'm here going,
You're
I
like,
don't know
what?
anything, man. I
Right.
swear, and I don't even know the names. I felt like he just
I don't
goes,
either.
play it again, Sam. Like
I know, right?
I didn't know the woman was involved. Okay, that's fine.
I know. I'm kind of like, eh. Okay. In Star Wars, the line that everybody likes to make fun, Luke, I am your father. He doesn't say that.
Hmm.
It's just, I am your father. There's no like, because I know that everybody's always like, Luke, I am your father. No, that's not how it goes.
I also only saw that movie once. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
or anything. But I
Now,
mean, like I've heard that. I've only ever heard Luke, I am
right,
your father.
right. But they are correct. It is
And
not that.
it's all Luke.
Right, right. All right, now this one, Snow White, the evil queen. What does she say to the mirror?
Oh, I know this because it always bothered me that everyone thought it was mirror mirror. Magic mirror on the
Right.
wall.
It's not mirror, mirror on the wall.
Because otherwise, we could say that to all of our mirrors. It's got to be magic mirror, or it doesn't work. Duh,
Right.
duh,
Right.
duh.
So apparently, also, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter never said hello, Clarice. I'm like, how did that become a thing?
Hmm. I was gonna say, don't I fight you on the lotion in the basket? I know what they say.
No, 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 no. Yeah, I know. Right,
Like,
right, right.
no.
And that one kind of like, I'm
Huh.
like, makes me want to go back and watch it now.
It's such an epically good movie. I should watch that. It is Halloween still here, so
Right.
it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Such a
It
good
is.
movie.
This one, and Mom and I have talked about this next one. Queen's song "We Are the Champions," and at the end of it, is like, "We are the champions, my friends," all that, and then it's like, "We are the champions," and then and you're expecting it to be like of the world
Mm-hmm.
at the end, and it never happens. And Mom
Oh,
and I both have a memory of
of
like
it.
having it, you know, of it like we're the champions, and you're waiting, and then like him finishing it of the world, him finishing the song, and but
Oh.
apparently the recording on the that you hear on the radio does not. And he only ever did that when they sang it live at the Wembley Stadium performance for Live Aid.
Oh, he said of the world at that one.
At that
Maybe
one.
that's the one that gets played. That's what, or like in movies or whatever. Because that's
Maybe.
maybe that's the
But I'm
reason
just saying the
why.
radio
Yeah.
one does not. I mean, it's, what
Interesting.
all the ones I have, like Spotify or on my CDs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Mom,
Huh.
because even Mom was like, I think I remember that happening.
Of the world. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, next one. Sinbad was never in a movie called Shazam as a genie.
No,
And
well, that's
I
one. Go ahead.
and I could have sworn, because you know how like movie production companies, they'll like kind of copy each other, and it was
Yeah.
like Armageddon and Deep Impact came out around the same time, and
Right.
you're like, it's the same stinking movie. I could have sworn that one existed alongside of the
Kazam.
one with Shaquille O'Neal
As I say,
in
that's
Kazam.
Kazam is the only because that's one that I've heard of before, and I'm like, I just my entire memory is that there is a movie where some famous athletic person, because that's how my brain works,
Shaquille O'Neal.
is a genie, and that's all I got.
Yeah. But I could have sworn there was one called Shazam with Sinbad. Like they came out around the same time. I don't know.
Huh.
Like that in my brain is how that works. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like I remember Kazam. Because I remember Walt liked Kazam because he was big into basketball, Shaq and that whole thing.
Right.
But yeah. I could have sworn there was one with Sinbad in it around the same time period.
Well, no, never mind. Keep going.
Apparently not. And apparently it's like there are so many people who are absolutely certain of that like I think Sinbad came out with some kind of like skit thing where it was like making fun of that, like him being some kind of genie. Anyway, so the next one is that many people remember Mother Teresa being canonized as a saint in the 90s while she was still alive.
Oh no, because you have to die before you can be canonized.
But there are tons of people who were like, "Oh no, 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 that happened while in the 90s," and it's like, nope, it didn't happen until
Yeah, because
2016.
you have to die, and then you have to perform miracles after you're dead before you can be
Something, yes, yeah,
canonized, sainthood, yada yada. So like, I think people called her a saint. Although honestly, she was
right,
horrific. Okay, like I don't know why we are all like, "Oh, Mother Teresa," blah, blah. Her
right,
methodology was people should suffer. Like, I'll take care of you, but I'm not going to give you anything to lessen your suffering because we're supposed to suffer for God. And I'm like,
right,
that's fucking twisted and not okay. Why did we give
right.
her sainthood, guys?
No, 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 no,
Gross,
no.
gross, gross.
Right, right, right. Um, Now this is one I've heard of. The ending to Big, the movie Big with Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people remember him, he turns back into a kid,
Right.
but then they remember the girl, the woman that he liked, who was an adult,
Mm-hmm.
that she goes back to the machine and she makes a wish and she turns into a kid too.
I don't have any memory of that at all. Not any. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that is not from my timeline.
This is
No,
not
she
from
does
my
not make a
timeline.
wish and become a kid. That's weird and twisted. Who would blah? No. There's life lessons. It's fine.
Life lessons. I think we talked about this one on one of our judges, but the whole Ed McMahon was never part of Publishers
He fucking
Clearinghouse.
was, okay? He was.
And
I don't
y'all are
care.
wrong,
He was.
because apparently they've gone back and they've looked at footage of, or shown footage of like old time, like
Mm-hmm.
I say old timey when it's back in the 80s.
It is old. We're
Back in
old.
the
That's
day
fine. That's
we
fine.
were old. Yeah, back in the day, like Publishers Clearinghouse commercials and Ed McMahon was ever a part of them, but apparently there is a Golden Girls episode where Rose makes the comment about she says something about Publishers Clearinghouse and Ed McMahon
Mm-hmm.
together on an old Golden Girls episode. So that's like the only evidence that Ed McMahon was part of Publishers Clearinghouse. But I'm like, he absolutely
He
was.
was.
Like I remember watching those commercials like at my grandmother's house, you know. It was
Yes, and he would go up to the door with the big check.
uh-huh.
I remember it. It's real.
Right.
It's
And
real.
they're like, no, it didn't happen. I'm like, you're wrong.
It did happen, and I can prove it.
Right. And then this one, I don't even know that this one you call it Mandela Effect, but this is like a personal thing that happened to me. The movie Butterfly Effect
Oh, mm-hmm.
with Ashton Kutcher. So for all you young people, if you're listening, there are DVDs.
There are these things called DVDs.
Yeah. Watching a DVD when we're in college and we watched it and I'm just like, man, that was depressing. You know, it gets to the end and I'm like, God, that was really depressing. And I forget where I was. We got into conversation about movies and stuff and somebody's mentioned it and I go, yeah, I didn't like it. That movie was really depressing, like the ending. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, he when he's in his mom's womb, it's like when he goes back in time or whatever, and he goes back to where he's in his mother's womb and he kills himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like he chokes himself with an umbilical cord, and so he won't be born. And so like his issue dies with him, and then she like marries somebody else, blah blah blah. And they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "But I know that's what I saw. I
I saw
know
that.
it is.
I know the story. That's
I
me.
know that's what I saw." Anyway, apparently there are multiple endings to that movie, and they're on different sides of the DVD.
Oh my god,
And
I
we
had no
watched
idea. I've only seen that one. I have only seen that ending.
apparently because I never saw it in the theaters. Okay, so apparently the ending in the theaters is he goes back in time to when he's a kid with the girl, Amy Smart's character, when they're children. And he tells her like he hates her and he's gonna kill her or whatever, so she'll stay. Because the whole thing was she didn't move with her mom. She stayed with her abusive dad because she
Mm-hmm.
liked Ashton Kutcher's character. And so her dad abused her, and then that whole thing goes from there. So he tells her that he hates her and he's going to kill her, so she'll leave with her mom
Mm-hmm.
and won't be abused. And then they wind up passing each other on the street. And there's like that little flicker of like, I remember you, but then they just keep going. And that's kind of how it ends. And it's like,
I only saw the one that you're talking about. I had no idea. I don't because I've only seen it once. Because it was I
right,
always watched it as like it's sad, whatever. But
right.
I remember that. And I was like, oh god, that is really dark. He killed himself. He strangled himself on his umbilical cord, right?
Umbilical
Yeah.
cord,
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like his mom doesn't, she loses the baby, she leaves his dad, she gets married again and has her own son. I mean, another
Mm-hmm.
son. It doesn't have the issue that he has. You know, it's just, yeah, apparently that wasn't the original
Wow.
ending.
Had no idea.
But yeah, that's when I discovered that, oh, asshole directors will put two versions of the movie on the same DVD and have it like one side is this version and one side is the other.
How very clue of them.
Right, right. That's like my own like had a moment where I
Huh.
was like, "No, I know this is what I saw." But
Huh.
there was an explanation for that. There were different endings. So,
How weird.
it is weird. But anyway, that's my Mandela effect.
That's amazing. Okay. So yesterday I was listening to a podcast while I was switching my clothes over to winter clothes. Yay.
Yes.
And it was like a listener episode kind of thing where they're just, reading other people's stories. And one of them was like a glitch in the matrix kind of a thing.
Mhm.
But it got them talking about how their thought or their belief is that, in life you'll have this moment and, like those because they're talking about like getting sideswiped or something in a car.
Mhm. Yeah.
And how you have these moments of like near death experience or it could have been bad and then it just wasn't, it was fine. And their theory is that You actually, it was death. It was in that timeline or whatever. You died there, so it just flips you over to the next to another one, and that's why things are
What?
because they're talking about how after something like that happens, you randomly notice a couple of things that you're like, I don't remember it being like that. It feels wrong. Like me and my mom's stupid garbage disposals on the wrong side, and she's like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "I'm not crazy. I remember this." So
Right.
that fucked with me because now I'm like, "Oh, I died in my timeline, and I guess got moved over to this one." So hi
Right?
everybody in
That's weird.
timeline.
That's a weird. Ooh.
There's like a
Hmm.
like essentially there were two. That's where like the timeline line would separate, and
Right.
I got moved over into a different one, and I'm like,
Weird.
uh.
Ooh,
So
that's a weird theory and
so
creepy.
when you think about all the things that like we
Like,
collectively have misremembered, and you're like a group of us.
right.
So there's like some world-ending event potentially. We got moved into this timeline. That's why we remember something that isn't right in this one.
Right. That's very
I
weird.
know, and I'm like, so I'm
So it makes
sharing
me
that
think of
mind
like
fuck with
all the
you.
times I've had car crashes. So that
Mhm.
means I died in one timeline and got
Well,
moved over.
but even
It's like,
things like, you know, I fell and hit my head, and like I had a concussion and I was fine, but like I
right.
could have not been fine in another
Right.
timeline, and now I'm in this one, and uh,
Weird.
yeah. So that has been fucking with my mind for the last 24
Right.
hours as well. It's been a
Right.
weird 24 hours for me when you think about it.
That's
Mm.
funny. Oh my gosh.
So you're welcome.
Wow.
Which means it
Wow.
must be time for
Yes.
tarot time with April. A spooky, spooky.
Okay.
Tell me when to stop, Claire. Okay, so here's the thing about the cards this week.
Uh-huh.
um, we've been Mandela affecting, and I now am completely convinced that we are in the wrong timeline, and I
Stop.
don't know that the cards can fix
Yeah.
anything. But
Right.
just saying, these cards have something to tell us, and I don't know what they're going to tell us,
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully good things because I'm tired.
Right.
Oh wow, we start off strong with the Emperor.
Oh.
Then we
Is that
have
the is that the Hierophant or the priest or what?
the Emperor. I think he's just the
Uh-huh.
Emperor.
Is he just Emperor?
Hmm there's like yeah. So the Hierophant and the something else are
Mm-hmm.
the Hierophant is the Pope, and
Pope
the
and the
High Priestess
Pope
is the
S.
Popess. I think is the
That's it.
different
Okay,
name.
that's what I'm yeah.
All right. So then we have the Eight of Cups. And we end with the Queen of Swords.
Well,
Well, hell's bells. One of each, guys.
right.
One major arcana, one pip, and one court card. What could it mean?
I don't know.
Probably bad things.
Probably bad things.
Okay. The Emperor is, let's see. He looks very strong and in control and charge in this picture, I think. He's holding the like
He looks
the
like he needs
royal
a turkey
ball,
leg.
the ball. He would absolutely eat that turkey leg.
He needs a turkey leg.
Hmm. Let's see. He is professional and competent. Yep, I get that. I feel that.
Okay.
He feels very competent. He's holding his ball of destiny or whatever the hell that thing's the orb of
Right.
destiny. It's got some weird name.
Right.
Underneath that uniform though is steel. Right? I'm here for that.
Fancy. He's fancy.
Man, I'm feeling kind of gross this moment. It's draining grossness. Okay. So let's see. When we see this card in a reading, maybe we're not going to get what we want right away. We need to be deliberate and try to figure out which approach is the best approach. Someone has to make the hard decisions, and someone has to decide that we're going to invade here and not there. Ooh, invasions.
Ooh.
Someone has to decide what to do in a crisis, and someone has to be that guy, or nothing will get accomplished. Cool, cool. He has authority, stability, and common sense. He can take care of things and make sure that tradition is carried on and that everything is safe. He's going to take care of us. Cool. I like it.
I dig it.
I'm here for
Not
that.
bad.
It's,
Yeah.
it feels like it's about leadership and going forward and
Right.
good times. So, decision making is coming, Claire.
Right.
Make your decisions.
Seriously.
Okay. The 8 of Cups. Cuppity cups. I call this the hangover card. Interesting.
Okay.
Let's see. But it can be brought in to include overdoing it in other ways, like being a tyrant at work,
Wow.
being a party girl when you should be home. It's kind of the morning after walk of shame card. Wow. You somehow have walked away from the important truths in your lives and have to shake your head to knock the cobwebs out. It's a card that happens before the client asks for redemption. There's nothing wrong at all with playing video games. There's so much wrong with using video games to escape your marriage, parenting duties, or, life. That's cool. Essentially, moderation is key. Maybe it's the follow up to the Emperor. It's like leadership, take charge, but like don't be a dick. Like don't be tyrant dick. Like,
right.
abate that desire, because obviously
Like, don't overdo it.
yeah, it's like you can be in charge, you can be a leader, but you don't have to like be a tyrant.
Right.
It's fine. That's fair. I'm a tyrant. It's in my blood. I'm sorry. It's who I am. Just gonna have to accept it. Okay. But we're gonna end our week with the Queen of Swords, who looks like she's her own kind of badass bitch.
Right.
She just doesn't give a damn about your motivations or what happens to you because of your actions. Yeah, it's fair.
I dig it.
She's a big picture kind of gal, and she cuts away all the emotion and feeling to get to the point. She's incredibly smart, like freaky Mensa level, intimidating smart. And she really doesn't have the time or patience to mess around with you. Is this me? Am I her? Are we the same?
Possibly.
Because I also don't give a damn about a lot of stuff. It's fine. She is stern and fair and has a very sharp tongue. She can be intimidating, but once she's on your side, it's as if you have an army behind you. She is strong, independent, and forthright. A complete badass. I like her. She sounds
right.
like she's got her shit together, man. I love the queen cards. I think the queens are like the perfect cards.
Right.
They are like all of the good things in their suit. They encompass their traits in good ways. I feel like
Right.
I feel like sometimes like the kings get a little bit hoity-toity about it, like I'm the fucking king,
Right.
and I'm like
Right.
fuck that shit. So no, I love a good queen card. They're badass bitches. I'm gonna start
I mean,
like
because like the Queen of Wands, she is also.
I know. I was like, well, and when I was fixing my cards, I was telling Claire, I fixed them so that there would be no inverted cards this time because I just needed a break. Because there's many cards. The cards can tell us stuff without having to be inverted. It's fine. But as I was, shuffling them after I had straightened them up or whatever, one card fell out. Which card was that, Claire? Why, it was the Queen of Wands, Minerva McGonagall herself, because she is our
Always.
patron saint.
She is. Although I feel like Queen of Swords is coming in pretty close.
Oh, I know. I feel like I need to give like I need to find, maybe that's the fun thing to do, is to find, characters that embody the cards as we see them, because we're the only ones that matter. It's our show.
That's right.
But yes, I like the Queen of Swords, because swords are usually not that great.
Right.
But she's like got her shit together, like, we're doing shit, man. We got this.
Yeah, usually the swords are like, oh, pain and
But I'm also like,
loss.
she ain't got time for your shit. It's like, no.
Right.
Moving on. Well, that sounds like an excellent time in the cards.
It does.
So, Claire, what is the topic of our very next episode?
All right.
We've been having some good ones. It's been fun. I've enjoyed. I've had a good time.
Let's see what we get.
What's going to be on our wheel
of
fate? It's going to be something. What?
Formerly legit medical practices. Thank you, Ellen. April's friend Ellen. This is her suggestion that she emailed in.
Oh,
formerly legit medical practices.
Well, this will be a dark episode.
Right.
So,
oh boy.
That'll be fun. That's going to be fun. You guys have to come back next time for
I know.
Formerly legit medical practices. Because
it's mostly going to be like, oh, how men tortured women legally.
I may have to go into the arsenic is good for you.
Right. Here, moms, have some cocaine. Yeah. It's fine.
We'll put it in the Coca-Cola. That's what makes gives it that nice pep. Oh, I love this so much. We're going to have a great time.
Oh, jeez.
It's going to be fun. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That was from Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen. You have some great suggestions. We love them. So if you would like to give us some suggestions for our wheel, or give us any of your own, I just want to know if anyone else has that theory about, jumping into a new timeline every time you die in yours. Because it spooks me out. It gives me spooks. Share anything with us. Give us some topics or stories that you'd like for us to cover. And you can send those to us at
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
And you can find us in all the places, all the podcast networks, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Insta, on Facebook, on anything I can think of in this moment anyway. You can find us at
Brunch and Judge.
So please follow, like, and subscribe so that way we can keep on doing this, because every like helps. Every single one.
That's right.
All right. So until next time, when we cover very disturbing medical practices that everyone thought was okay.
Right.
So until then, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
Bye.
Bye.
Brunch and Judge. Brunch and Judge. We brunch and judge everything and give you opinions that nobody asked for.